In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News today at 6.
Yep, it is 6 o'clock straight up, and this is a live look outside, everyone. State Capitol's right there, smack in the center of your screen, and a lot going on under the dome as of, just 20 minutes ago, because lawmakers were in a marathon debate. 20 hours, they just wrapped it up. We'll talk to Kate, who will wrap it up for you on what they talked about coming up in a live report. But the big story, I think, also today is the chance of rain in the weather. Good morning.
It is. Good morning to you. It's very warm and humid out there. It's dry so far, but we do have that chance of rain entering the forecast a little bit later on today. Let's check out your temperatures, which look more like a summer morning than a mid-spring morning here on the first day of April. It's 69 in Austin and 70 from Georgetown out to LaGrange. Very warm and muggy indeed. We are all dry here in central Texas right now, but you see some rain showers out to our west, and some of those could impact your Wednesday afternoon. We'll time out the arrival of that rain and take a closer look at the chances where you are. First, Amanda has a new traffic hazard showing up on I-35.
It is. It's actually as you're making your way into Hays County. It's showing up on that, again, the southbound side right around 1626 Onion Creek Parkway. So just something to watch for. It's not really slowing things down. However, that could always change just within 10 minutes. As we zoom now over to Ed Bluestein Boulevard, but now we did have some backup, but just like that, it's cleared out. Looks like speeds are back up to normal after moving right around 30 miles per hour. A quick look at another traffic hazard that's still on the incident page. This is at Parkfield and Rutland. That's just north of Renberg Lane. As we take it now over once again, a quick look at aerial Wattage roads. Still pretty quiet. Now this morning, road developers are going over the heavy criticism they heard from Austin drivers. Hundreds showed up last night to Austin High School to voice their concern of another toll road project. TxDOT and the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority want to build an 8-toll express lane on Mopac from Cesar Chavez Street over to Slaughter. Now, the goal is to help traffic congestion, but critics say a double-decker express lane over Lady Bird Lake will destroy its beauty.
My first thought was, how loud is this going to be, and how is this going to disturb our community and our park?
Whether it's adding a toll road or possibly adding additional highway infrastructure, if you don't do it now, it's going to have to be done.
Now there is another hearing about the issue in August. Construction will get underway in 2017, pending the results of an environmental study.
State lawmakers, you heard Sally mention, just wrapped up a few moments ago. They worked through the night in this marathon debate about your tax dollars. We're talking about the state budget, which is worth $210 billion.
A lot of money to talk about. Kate Whitehouse live at the state capitol with a closer look at the issues that kept lawmakers up all night. There was a little confusion. We thought maybe they were going into 20 hours of debating, but they actually started at noon yesterday, so 18. Still a long time, right?
Still a long time, yeah. They didn't adjourn until 5:40 this morning. They ended up passing their version of the House budget by a vote of 141 to 5. They have now adjourned until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, throughout the marathon debate, they had about 350 amendments to the budget they had to work through. Some of the big issues dealt with border security funding. Lawmakers wanted to divert funding to other state and local entities. Most of those efforts, though, failed. An amendment that would ban school vouchers for private schools was eventually withdrawn. And one amendment that went through easily was from Austin Representative Donna Howard. She wanted the leftover money from the STAR test program to go to college readiness students that they take in 8th and 9th grade.
Acceptable to the author. Is there any objection to the adoption of the amendment? Chair hears none. Amendment is adopted.
All right, so what happens from here now that the House has passed its budget? They pass it off to the Senate, where they are going to debate not only the Senate's version, but also the House version of the budget. Then it goes off into a committee before it even makes it to the governor's desk. All of this has to be completed by June 1st, so we still have a ways to go. Of course, we'll keep you posted along the way. We're live from the state capitol. Kate Whitehouse, KXAN News.
Kate, thank you. As the Austin population continues to grow, so do the number of people struggling to make ends meet.
Because of that, the Capital Area Food Bank has raised millions of dollars to expand its operation in order to help more than 500,000 people each year. So here's a look at new renderings of their new building, which breaks ground today. It will double their capacity, allowing the food bank to take in 60 million pounds of food instead of just 30. The new food bank will also have some other amenities.
It's going to have a commercial kitchen, which will allow us to extend the shelf life of foods like tomatoes, for instance, for tomato sauce, or freeze strawberries, or make the foods last longer, otherwise it would expire.
There will also be a teaching garden to show people how to grow their own food. The overall cost of the new building is $23.5 million. They still have about $5 million more to raise. So the need for programs like the Capital Area Food Bank was highlighted in a national study last week. The report found a trend among Williamson, Hays, and Travis counties that showed the need to improve conditions for children in poverty. The study by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the University of Wisconsin's Population Health Institute looked at each county across the country.
Supporters for child protection advocacy groups want lawmakers to make some changes that will benefit Texas children. So they're going to rally today. They're going to meet with lawmakers for what they call Child Protection Day. And this morning's rally comes just a day after lawmakers did pass a proposal out of committee. It's House Bill 781. It would raise the training hours for foster parents. Now, the training would cover CPR, first aid, trauma care, behavioral intervention, and how to deliver psychotropic drugs. The Department of Family and Protective Services says Texas has some of the lowest requirements in the country for becoming a foster parent. The bill, though, now heads over to the House floor, where it's up for a vote. Today, the Travis County Sheriff's Office is unveiling a plan to help local inmates suffering from mental illness. Now, the program will prepare them to go back into the community, and we expect to hear a little bit more about the specifics of this plan later this afternoon.
There is a discussion today focused on Austin's growing wage and skills gap. A panel of city and community leaders will look at how to close that gap. It's part of a 5-part series with Leadership Austin's Engage Breakfast. Our Robert Hadlock will help moderate today's discussion. Low-wage workers across the country are planning to strike. A group known as Fight for $15 says tens of thousands of workers will walk off the job 2 weeks from today. They're demanding higher wages and the freedom to form unions. Organizers say they picked April 15th, which is the deadline to file federal income tax returns.
This morning, Iran still working to reach a deal with the U.S. and about 5 other countries about its nuclear program. Yesterday's deadline has come and gone, but it has been extended 1 day. Russia's foreign minister says they have agreed on monitoring and sanctions, but the U.S. State Department says they have a lot of tough issues they need to work out still. The main concerns from lawmakers in Washington: what kind of research can Iran do if they approve a 10-year monitoring plan? And what happens to all the nuclear fuel Iran's already stored?
I think they've got to come up with something from Switzerland, or there will be a move to impose additional sanctions.
Iran's foreign minister says they hope to wrap up nuclear talks today.
Closing arguments in the Boston Marathon bombing trial get underway on Monday. The defense team for Dzhokhar Tsarnaev called only 4 people to the stand. Meanwhile, prosecutors called in 92 to testify against the suspect. His attorneys say the true mastermind of the bombing was Tsarnaev's older brother, Tamerlan. The jury will start deliberating after Monday's closing arguments. If they convict Tsarnaev, there will then be a separate trial to determine whether he lives or dies. The U.S. Department of Justice says it will look into Texas laws that criminalize skipping school. The DOJ investigation will specifically target Dallas County's policy. Nearly 100,000 Texas students were ticketed for missing school last year. Right now, students who have 3 unexcused absences in 4 weeks could face a fine of up to $500. Coincidentally, as that investigation opens, a Texas State Senate committee approved a bill that would decriminalize truancy. The bill would create graduated fines starting at $100.
Well, a controversial bill in Indiana could get a fix as the governor there starts to backpedal on exactly what does this law mean. Well, some activists worry the religious freedom bill could discriminate against gay and lesbian people, allowing a business to refuse service based on someone's sexual orientation. Well, that's Indiana's governor, and he's now saying lawmakers should pass a new bill that makes it clear the state does not allow discrimination. The revised version is expected to hit the governor's desk by the end of this week. A 400-square-foot mobile home is up for sale for more than $1 million. Why so much money for this home? Well, it sits near the beach at the Hamptons in the state of New York. That's why. The mobile home is almost 50 yards 50 years old, with quilts thrown over the furniture and boxes of Cheerios stacked on the microwave.
Wow.
Just to add a little extra touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little
comes with all the amenities.
used touch, shall we call it?
I mean, that's how expensive real estate is in the Hamptons, I guess.
Incredible,
Okay,
yeah.
But you live in the Hamptons.
I've always fantasized of putting a little tent or a mobile home on Lake Travis waterfront or something.
Yes.
Right.
It's probably similar.
Oh, probably.
Yes.
That'll be $1 million.
You're not going to pay $1 million for a tent, though.
I don't think
for
that's
sure.
going to happen. No. Well, if you are outside this morning, we don't really have much rain to worry about, but that may change later this afternoon. The satellite and radar over central Texas is showing some gray skies as clouds move from west to east. And yes, you do see some light green showing up near Llano, but those sprinkles are so very light that they're really not even reaching the ground. So again, we are all dry so far this morning. We will see about a 1 in 5 chance of getting wet where you are from about noon through the afternoon today. We do expect just a few isolated showers and maybe a clap of thunder or two, but most of us will stay dry because that chance of rain is pretty small, and it'll be another warm one with a high up to 80 degrees. Coming up in your forecast, we'll take a closer look at how much rain those of us who do get wet today may see in our rain gauges. There's actually some colder air arriving on Friday, and we'll see how that impacts our Easter Sunday outlook. First, Amanda has a traffic update for folks coming in from south of Austin.
Absolutely. Let's go right now to I-35. It's nothing major, but of course, just want to give you a heads up if you see crews on scene. It's actually on the southbound side of I-35 entering into Hays County here at Onion Creek Parkway. Little traffic hazard there showing up. And as we take it now to Ed Bluestein, things still looking great in both directions if you're traveling over to FM 969 or even up to Highway 290. This is another spot we've had our eye on too. Again, a minor situation at Parkfield and Rutland Road in the final clearing stages, but if you take a look at Runberg Lane here, that's that highlighted spot. It looks like traffic is starting to pick up just a bit in both directions in this part of town. Other than that, though, your high-speed roadways are looking a-okay, whether you're getting on I-35, Mopac 360, you name it. When we start to see the backup, you'll know about it first.
A follow-up this morning to the city's new hands-free driving law. What the KXAN investigative team found out about where the most tickets are being written up.